Hi everyone, welcome back to Attic Train 769, and today we're going to be talking about the history on the Norfolk and Western Railway, or commonly known as the N&W. It was a Class 1 railroad in the United States that was formed by more than 200 railroad mergers between 1838 and 1982. It was headquartered in Roanoke, Virginia for most of its existence, but it was definitely known for its fast coal and fast passenger trains. So we're going to dive into the history of this. And it was also known for making its most famous steam locomotive at its own shop there in Roanoke and its own hopper cars. But we'll get to that later here. So we're going to dive into some history here on the Norfolk and Western Railway. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys want to see more videos like this, leave me a thumbs up, comment below, and make a suggestion on the next railway you want to see us do some history on. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into this here just in one moment. Let me get us set up. Alright, we're going to start with the N&W's earlier predecessor here, the City Point Railroad, which is a CPRR, a 9-mile short line that was formed in 1838 to extend from City Point to a port on the tidal James River to Petersburg, Virginia on the Fall Line. And during the Civil War, a small structure, dynamic Little Billy Mahone became a major part of the general in the Confederate Army during the American Civil War, and he was widely regarded to as a hero in the Battle of the Crater during the siege of Petersburg in 1864 to 1865, and his wife served as a nurse in the Confederate capital of Richmond. The MP was served by the war and was held by the Union for most of the war. The eastern portion of the City Point Railroad was played a crucial role in the Union General's Ulysses S. Grant during the siege of Petersburg, and was operated by the military of the United States Railroad, or operated by the United States Military Railroad. And the south side of the railroad was very heavily damaged. William was a we're not going to go there. Mahone got quickly to work restoring his NP and resumed his dreams of linking the 3 trunk lines across the southern part of Virginia. The AM&O operated profitably in the early 1870s. It encountered some financial problems during the Panic of 1873. A fourth road of the AM&O family was planned to extend through the Cumberland Gap to Kentucky, but was never built. Mahone retained control of the AM&O for several more years before his relationship with the English and Scottish bondholders deteriorated in 1876. Receivers were appointed to oversee his work after several years of operation under receivership. Mahone's role as the railroad's builder ended in 1891 when the Northern financial interests took control. A foreclosure auction of the AM&O Railroad was purchased by E.W. Clark & Co., a private banking firm in Philadelphia with ties to the large Pennsylvania Railroad, and the PRR was seeking a southern connection for its Shenandoah Valley Railroad, which was under construction up the valley from the Potomac River. In 1881, the AM&O was reorganized and renamed as Norfolk and Western, a name perhaps taken from an 1850 charter application filed by the citizens of Norfolk, Virginia. George Frederick Tyler became the president. Frederick J. Kimball, a civil engineer and partner in E.W. Clark Co. became the first president. Henry Frank, whom Mahone had hired in 1855, became the second president and general superintendent. Kimball and his board of directors selected Big Lick, a small Virginia village on the Roanoke River, to be the junction of the SVRR and the N&W. Big Lick was later renamed to Roanoke, Virginia. Over time, Roanoke began to grow in the 1950s and reached a population of over 90,000. So in 1885, several mining companies representing about 400 acres of coal reserves grouped together to form the Coalfield's largest owner, Philadelphia-based Flat Top Coal Land Associations. The N&W bought the association and reorganized it as Pocahontas Coal and Coke Company, PCCC, and was later renamed to the Pocahontas Land Corporation. The Roanoke shops, the company was famous for its building its own steam locomotives and participated in a rare practice outside of Britain, where most railways either build their own locomotives or had contractors build the locomotives designs. The locomotives were built at the Roanoke shops in Roanoke, Virginia. The shop employed thousands of craftsmen who refined their products over the years. Between the Class A's, J's, and Y6 locomotives that were designed and built and maintained by the N&W personnel, brought through the company industry worldwide for its excellence and steam power. The N&W was committed to steam power due to a part of its manufacturing capacity, the human resources to build steam locomotives, and partially due to the majority committee it hauled coal resources during the 1950s. The N&W rebuilt their W-class 280s into their W6 class, which are 080Ts, in the 1960s. The N&W became the last major Class 1 railroad in the United States to abandon steam locomotives for diesel-electric locomotives. In later years, the Roanoke and Southern Railway was organized in 1887, succeeding separate companies called the Roanoke and Southern in North Carolina and Virginia. Norfolk and Western leased the Roanoke and Southern starting in 1892, and it became a part of the Norfolk and Western in 1911. The N&W operated profitably through World War I and the Great Depression and World War II, and it paid regular dividends throughout the Depression. During World War I, the N&W was jointly operated with the VGN under the USRA's wartime takeover of the Pocahontas roads. The operating efficiency was significant, and after the war, the railroads returned to their own respective owners and competitive statuses. The N&W lost sight of the VGN and its low Gardenian routes throughout Virginia. Meanwhile, during World War II, they used their J's and K1s and Class A and S1 Slichers to handle the troop trains from Ohio to Norfolk at the point to embark. Other three were New York, San Francisco, and San Diego, and however, the U.S. Interstate Commerce Commission turned down the attempts to combining the railroads when a proposed merger in 1959 was made for the N&W and VGN to merge. The N&W operated safely in this time, and the recipients of the Gold E.H. Harriman Award for the 1938 and promotional booklet published in 1939. The N&W wrote for the second time in 12 years the American Museum of Safety had awarded the Herman Memorial Gold Medal to the Norfolk and Western Railway for its outstanding safety record during 1938. Among Class 1 railroads in the United States, it is further noted that the Norfolk and Western Railway carried 1 million passengers more than 86,000 miles without incident prior or in the period from 1924 to 1938. At the end of 1925, the N&W operated on 2,241 miles of track. And by the end of 1956, they had operated on 4,759 miles of track. The VGM was conceived by the William Nelson Page and Henry Huddleston Rogers Page, had helped engineer and build the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway through the mountains in West Virginia. And Rogers had already become a millionaire from the principal of Standard Oil before their partnership was formed in the 1920s. So the Norfolk and Western acquired the VGN and was trying to merge, but that never came through. They just acquired the VGM. And we're going to talk a little bit of modern era here. In 1955, the N&W operated in North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and then in 1959, the Interstate Commerce Commission approved the merger of the VGN and into the N&W. In 1964, former Wabash, Nickel Plate, Pittsburgh and Western Railway, and Archon and Caton and Youngstown Railroad were brought into the system in one of the most complex merger of the era. This consolidation plus the 1976 addition for a more direct route to Chicago, Illinois, and made the N&W an important Midwestern railroad. On September 1st, 1981, the N&W acquired the Illinois Terminal Railroad, and the N&W was a major investor in the airlines there. Sometime in the 1980s, the song Cargo Moving People was written and recorded and was officially released to the public, and it eventually made its way onto DVD, titled Rails to Roanoke. But in 1980, the profitable N&W team teamed up with the just as profitable Southern Railway, another profitable company, to form the Norfolk and Southern Corporation as we know it today. It paved its way for the Norfolk and Southern Corporation. But through the 50s, they did make some very beautiful and powerful engines, and they offered some nice passenger operations as well, as the Cavalier and the Pocahontas. But some of their steam locomotives they're most famous for are their Class A 2664s, with one surviving example, number 1218. And then their Class J 484s that were used for passenger service with a top speed of 110 miles an hour, while the Class J were a top speed of 70 miles an hour. But they were also really famous for their Class Ys that were at a top speed of 60 miles an hour. They were Mallet type engines. But we've talked about the history there of the Norfolk and Western Railway that is now merged into the Norfolk and Southern Railway. So we're going to get you around here, get a little bit of a wrap up. We'll see some of these engines run around here before the wrap up, the Class J and the 602. Won't be too much, but I always like to incorporate some models into the video. So let's watch some models go around here for a couple minutes, and then we'll be back with the wrap up. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Norfolk and Western Railway and a little bit of history of the rise of the Norfolk and Western Railway. I wouldn't say the demise because they just merged together with the Southern Railway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys would be interested in seeing on the next video on history of a railroad. And make sure to catch up on all of our other videos. If you're just new here, please leave a subscribe and go back and watch some of our other videos, like on the C&O Railroad or the Western Maryland or the B&O, the Chessie, the Reading. We have tons of great informational videos here on the channel, so please go check them out. And yeah, till next time, we'll see you back here in the attic. You guys have a great rest of your day.